Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about a paper from Apple that kind of shake up the whole industry in large language model because it's kind of suggesting that all of the thinking and the knowledge that the LLM have is kind of illusion. So we're going to deep dive into the paper and then I'm going to talk about my opinion about the paper and what it has to do for us. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Welcome everyone to our channel, AI Fun Fact for All. For those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Pedram. I have a PhD in computer science, and in this channel we talk about AI and machine learning and how we can use it in order to improve our efficiency. The illusion of thinking, understanding the strengths and limitation of reasoning models. This is a paper that come very recently from Apple, and you may already have known that Apple is not very top on the game in terms of basically the large language models. So a lot of people are actually thinking that it was intentional and kind of playing down the game of LLM because they just don't have a paper or a good model. So what they do, they are going to think about some of the ability that the large language models have in terms of considering their capability of thinking. How it happens so far is that they use a bunch of like coding or mathematics or hard of PhD level questions and then try to have a bunch of basically benchmarking and try to present the result, and we see a lot of performance there. But what this paper is trying to do is that trying to actually find the nitty-gritty of what does it mean from a standpoint of a challenging problem, or what actually requires reasoning. The new the design is controllable puzzle for evaluation purposes, and the point about it is that it is just for these basically LLMs, and they haven't seen this kind of environment at all before, and so they want to identify three distinct performance regions. So we're gonna look at their regions and gonna see that what each of them are, and then finally show that when the LLM actually reach a wall when they are doing this thinking, and what they're actually happening. So there are four different puzzles: the Tower of Hanuni, the checkers, the river, and the block. And what will happen is that you can make this problem harder by just increasing the number of the component there. These are different problems, and we can there are so many debates on the complexity of them. So the result actually shows that Hanoi is basically the more complex one, but some people in the Twitter actually mentioned that the hardest one is actually river crossing because it needs more complexity. They actually consider Claude, DeepSeek, and OpenAI, and they try to compare the final result. So as you can see, the main result of this paper is that there are three different regions. The first region is the low complexity. When it is low complexity, actually when you have the reason, it actually deteriorates the result, which is kind of surprising, and the simpler model without thinking can actually perform the good result, and adding reasoning actually deteriorate the performance because it just usually on the very beginning it actually understand and find a good solution, and providing the more reasoning just create like overthinking and does not necessarily provide a better result. And then we have the medium reason, which is the sweetest spot of the language models, which basically we see that if we don't have the reasoning, it will just drop, and then if we actually add the thinking capability, the number of tokens that they generate actually increase, which is kind of expected. As the problem become harder and harder, we want it to create more tokens and get more basically time to think, and then but we see that actually the accuracy drop, and the thinking mode actually performed better. High complexity, the accuracy actually collapsed, and it doesn't matter if it is thinking or it is not thinking, the accuracy is around 0, and this is despite the fact that they already have the capability, because they already have the resources, they already have the disk or the memory requirement for them, but it just stop basically generating. And what's surprising is basically the response length, which we assume that okay, for the reasoning model, we want it, if it is a harder problem, it's to try to think harder. At least try. Maybe you don't get the answer, but still try. But we hear what they saw is that it actually dropped, because somehow like the models see that, oh, the computation or the level of complexity is actually too hard, so you just give up and don't provide the reasoning, even if we provide the solution. Because in Tower of Hanoi problem, there is a specific solution regardless of how many disks you have. If you follow that, you can just solve the problem. Even if when they provide that, it actually failed. And no matter if they provide it or if they don't, the response actually is kind of the same, which is kind of surprising. Even if they know the answer, they did not provide the result. And the same actually also goes for the river crossing. But what will happen is that for Hanoi, actually it can basically get up to 100 of wrong moves. It try 100 different cases, and then after that just drop, even though it has the capability. But for river crossing, it was even way less. Like it didn't even try more than 5 wrong moves. So now there are a few things that I want to point out about the result of this paper, which is basically, first is the meaning of complexity. So the meaning of complexity necessarily doesn't correlate with the number of components or disk elements. We need to somehow define the concept of reasoning in here. The concept of reasoning right now in this paper was just be limited to the fact that it will try to explore. But we saw that even if you provide the solution, it will fail. So it's kind of some out of distribution region. So we can somehow accept that it is not going to solve every problem. So this paper actually suggests there are some regions, if the number of complexity is the number of like different cases is too large, language models will actually fail, no matter if they enable thinking or not. But what's important is that it doesn't deny that the fact that there is a inductive and learning process through the inference time. So what they are suggesting in paper, maybe it is misunderstood, but majority are thinking that, oh, it is suggesting that there is no learning, and it is just considering all of the different cases and try to see which one works best, and then try to build on top of that. And when this number goes too large, then they cannot do that. So basically they're suggesting that there is a higher layer to this just pure exploration, which is the concept of learning. And if you know that knowledge, then no matter what is the size, you can basically pretty much solve the problem. So from this standpoint, it is correct, but still I don't believe that you can completely demolish the whole learning or a few or zero shots capability of large language models and the capability that they have in actual problems related to human. Because so it kind of suggests, okay, so it is not learning, it is basically just predicting from what it has learned what can be the next one. So There is obviously some challenges in here. Let me know in the comment what do you guys think. Is it actually completely destroying the whole thinking mode or understanding of LLM? And there you have it, guys. We went over the illusion of thinking by Apple paper. So we discussed what was going off the main finding of the paper, and I also talked about what do I think and my opinion about this paper. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, more importantly subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, you can watch this video that I talk about the difference between MCP, the Model Context Protocol, and API, or you can watch this video that I talk about the LLM diffusion that's generated by Google, try to pop out all the response at once. Thanks for watching and see you until the next one.